everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your host, Candy Washington. And before we dive into this episode of The Soft Life with Candy Washington, as you guys know, we just rebranded from Sugar Pills, the self-care podcast, to The Soft Life with Candy Washington, talking all things manifestation, self-love, and healthy relationships. So before we dive into our latest episode, which I'm sure will be a very inspiring conversation with Tamerri Ater. If I said that correct or not, we'll get into it. Go ahead, say it.
Tamerri Ater.
Yes, Tamerri Ater. Tamerri Ater. Thank you guys for giving me grace on that. Tamerri Ater. Before we dive in, if you guys need additional support, you can check out the show notes down below. You can grab our self-love journal, which is your companion piece to all things self-love and self-worth. Don't forget to check out our latest courses, Manifest Your Dream Life Through Self-Love, the Art of Self-Love Masterclass, and our other courses down below. And we also just recently launched our new Patreon community, our Soft Life community. We have bonus episodes for everyone. We also have a supportive community with guided videos, meditations, visualizations, journal prompts, affirmations. We have it all. It goes down. And also access to private VIP and group coaching as well. So definitely be sure to check out all of those goodies. And don't forget our free content. If you sign up for our newsletter, you get a free self-love guide. So who doesn't like that? We all do. So with that, let's dive right on in. So welcome. And if you guys who may not be familiar with her, she is a certified professional astrologer, Reiki practitioner, founder of AstroFashionista LLC, and Gift of the Nile Wellness, which are products for spiritual wellness rooted in Egyptian astrology and metaphysics. With over 15 years of experience, Tamerri has advised thousands of people on how to tap into their personal gifts to align with their soul's destiny, life purpose, career path, and improve and attract healthy relationships and partnerships. So welcome.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes. So for those who may not be familiar with you, do you want to share your story a little bit, just a little bit of your background, and then how you got started?
Yeah, I would love that. Thank you for having me, Candy. I'm super excited. I'm Tamerri. I am a certified astrologer, and astrology really has been a part of my life since I was an infant. My dad is an African history scholar. He named me Tamerri, which means gift of the Nile. His specialty is Egypt. And at my naming ceremony, one of his best friends, who's a spiritual practitioner, actually did a natal chart reading for me as a baby. And my dad kind of carried those things and gave me tips about things not to do, like wearing red, because I was born under the sign of the bull. And I'd be very headstrong. And so, when when I was in elementary school, I remember learning about zodiac signs and asking my dad, and he explained it to me. And so I've always been into astrology. And then when I graduated college, I worked at a marketing firm in Beverly Hills. And one of the managers of the Astro Twins worked in my office. And the Astro Twins, they're celebrity astrologers. They've been around forever. And they looked at me and they said, "You're either a Taurus or a Scorpio." And I'm like, "I'm a Taurus sun. And I was rising." And I'm like, how did they just look at me and how were they able to tell that? And so, I think everyone's story, or I feel like your biggest gifts come from your tragedies in your life or your hardships. For me, my biggest loss was my mother at age of 13 to suicide. And that was like a very traumatic thing, not only for me, but for my family. It changed completely changed our family dynamic. And so, at a young age, I had to go on a self-care journey. And this is way before Instagram, way before YouTube, way before we had resources, way before people talked about therapy. And it was something that, talked about.
Yeah.
And so astrology really was the way that I learned about myself. And I learned how to read natal charts. I did it on friends and family members for free for years. And then my Capricorn boyfriend at the time was like, "You got to get paid for this." And I was like, I didn't believe this was before astrology was like really trendy and how everyone loved it now. I'm like, no one's going to pay for astrology reading.
No, they won't.
You know what? In 2015, I was like, I'm just going to do it. And start charging people for this. And my that second boyfriend, the Scorpio, built my website for me. just like announced it to my friends. I'm like, guys, I'm going to start charging for this. And all the while I was working in beauty product development. So I've had a long career, doing product development for brands like Murad and Dermalogica. I most recently was the head of PD at Verse Skincare, skincare brand. So I've been in the beauty space and, I've done both. And so that's kind of where the name AstroFashionista comes from, because I've always worked in this like beauty fashion space and doing spiritual work. And so for me, when I launched Gift of the Nile, it really was just a combination of all of my loves, astrology, Egypt, self-care, helping others, and products. And so, so that's kind of where I am today. And we met because Ken Huang, he's Paramount. He's we're in business school together at UCLA, and we're graduating in June. And so
congratulations.
Thank you. Really excited about that. So yeah, I'm here and I'm so excited to talk to you about everything that you guys got going on in your community, because it's super aligned, clearly.
Absolutely. And I wanted to just tell you what came up for me when you were talking. So I love not I love, because that sounds weird, but thank you for sharing your story about what happened with your mother. I feel very honored for you to share that with us. So thank you. And I hope to be a safe space to hold that for you. But it just reminds me of that's like the wound is where the light comes in, and we have those moments in our lives of trauma, of loss, of true suffering. And usually from that path of suffering is what usually leads us to where we find our authentic joy, that unshakable, unwavering, regardless of external circumstance, joy, usually comes from a deep-rooted suffering or trauma or wound, right? So thank you for sharing that. And I also loved how, and a lot of creative people and a lot of, very sensitive or empathic people, we turn our passion into our purpose. So you got passionate about astrology and learning what it was and doing it for fun, and you just enjoyed it, and it gave you probably a sense of control, and maybe a time that you felt like you didn't have control. Definitely. Something that you could go to guide you and to get hope from, right?
Yeah.
And so you took that passion and you turned it into your purpose. So what you did for yourself, you now do to help other people. So I love that, because passion is what we do for us. Purpose is what we do in service of others. And when your passion can also be your purpose, that's when you're in that sweet spot in life, right? Where you're just in your flow and you're jamming, your cup is full and you're filling everybody else up too. And it's just a yummy space to be in.
Yeah.
So I absolutely love that. And I feel like, astrology and beauty and the products is also a way to self-soothe. We find, just like you said, it was before self-care Sundays and blah, 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 and all that toxic positivity crap. But we had to find tangible, real ways to soothe ourselves in the midst of suffering or trauma or chaos or loss or pain or just hurt. And we do that through different things that we find, whether it's, lighting your love potion candle that I got over here. I sprayed the earth, because I was like, I got to be in my masculine energy right now. I got to get this done. I got to be present and grounded. So I sprayed the earth around me. It's a way to self-soothe, right? We can use these things to soothe ourselves, to get a sense of control, and to set the intentionality behind it all. And I think in your story, I think a lot of us can see ourselves in that, during time of trauma that we can't control. Well, what can we control? Well, I can control helping. I can control doing this. I can do this ritual. I can talk to this person. I can find purpose and passion, all of that stuff. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. And how do you incorporate your products into your either daily or weekly routine? What are some things that make you say, today I really need to spray water, or I need to do this love potion or earth? Because to me, I was like, today's an earth day.
Oh, I love this question. I was also actually born on Earth Day too. I was born on
Easter
Sunday. Yeah, April 22nd. So I created this line because everything that in the line I use. These are tools that I've been using for years to help me feel better. And I love that you said take control, because my team and I were talking about this, and it's bringing daily ritual to your life. What can you do to make your day a little bit better, even if it's a small thing? So when I go to sleep, I'm spraying earth on my pillow because it helps me sleep better. And it's such a routine for me. I have to do it or I don't even sleep well. So I do that. The shower, air is a great place to use the shower because it has eucalyptus and cedar wood and it really uplifts you. So if you go to the spa, like I go to Burke Williams and they have the eucalyptus spray, I use my air spray in my shower. And then when I meditate, I have them all here actually behind me. So I meditate every morning for 10 minutes and I spray either earth or I created a spray for Awe Inspired, a jewelry brand. They have a ritual spray. So I started to use that every morning. Before this call, I've sprayed air because that's for communication. Fire when I'm like feeling like I need a coffee. I don't drink coffee really, but when I need to be perked up, I use fire. And then water when I want to journal or when I'm feeling a little emo and I need to like move through some things, I use water. And so all of each mist is formulated, using the cosmos in mind. Each one's named after an Egyptian god. So earth is Geb, water is Hapi, and, fire is Amun-Ra, air is Nut. And so basically whatever you need at that time, you use it. And so you can also use it based on your zodiac sign. So when's your birthday? We didn't even get to
I'm Sagittarius, December.
December what?
14th.
Oh, okay. My brother's the 11th. My nephew's the 18th. Okay, so you're fire. So you're already, you're already lit. So you need probably, so earth is actually really good for you. So, so if someone wanted to give you fire, it's like, yeah, you're giving to yourself, but you might need grounding. So I'm going to give you earth. So that's kind of how it works. We all need all the elements in our life. So yeah. And the love, great for self-love. Like today I put the love potion. The Hathor was the goddess of, like Venus. Everyone knows Venus and Aphrodite. Before Venus and Aphrodite, she was the Egyptian goddess of love and beauty and femininity. So that candle that you have, like I burn that all the time. And that's great for if you're trying to attract a partner, if you just want self-love, like to remind you to really take care of yourself every day. So that's, it's all about yourself and giving to yourself.
I love that. And I love how it's all about self-love. And I also talk about like the soft life, that's like going around. And for me, the soft life, it's more about just doing things that will intentionally make your life more joyful. Just a little bit happier, a little bit softer, a little bit more in that divine feminine energy, that receptive mode, that openness, rather than it has to be hard or a struggle or I have to be It's no, how do I get into my divinity, that's my birthright, where things should just flow to me. Things should just come to me. Things should be easy because that's my divine birthright, right? And so I love incorporating, everything that you're doing into creating that softer life, whether it's just, sitting here and lighting the candle, just having like the light here or the smell of it just makes it a totally different, or just like you said, spraying the eucalyptus in the shower. It's a completely different experience than just hopping in and hopping out without being present and without being connected and just having that added luxury, that added experience, that added, softness to it, or, putting on the love potion, right here on your temples and just smelling it and taking that time to be mindful and to connect it to body. And it's even meditative just to sit and kind of rub and smell. And people forget that you can incorporate those little touch points throughout your life and throughout your daily routine that doesn't cost a ton of money, isn't over the top, isn't, not authentic to who you are, but it's these little moments that just make your life that much more enjoyable. And usually they bring you into the present moment and they ground you and they make you focus on where your power is, which is always in the now. Because if I spray something, I'm going to take that moment and spray it. I'm thinking I'm in this moment. I'm not, oh my God, I have to go do this, or I can't believe I said that, or I totally flubbed this, or this is what happened. It's like, nope, I'm in the present moment. And it grounds you. And then that's where your power is, right? Yes. And speaking of power, you were talking about the different gods and goddesses. So do you have a particular one or two that's your favorite, and what are their backstories?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I love this question. So I loved mythology growing up. It was just something that I was always into. I used to love writing hieroglyphics. I've always been really connected. And a lot of people are familiar with goddess Isis. Her real name is Aset. So that's her name before it was Isis. And I really connect. That's my god sister's name. Two, the story of resurrection and her husband Osiris, or Asar. and how she, he was killed by his brother Set out of jealousy, and his body was like cut up into 14 pieces, and she went and gathered them all and really brought him back to life. So it's really this like beautiful, the power of women, right? I love that, like that story, and it's also very when you were talking about the soft life, to me that's like Venus energy, right? And so whereas Isis Aset is more of a, I would say she's more of a Mary's energy, like a mother, where Hathor is more Venus, but just that femininity, I really connect to that. So I would say her, and obviously Hathor, she was one of the first goddesses that I gave a whole collection to, because I really connect to that Venus soft life energy as a Taurus. And just, I have Venus in my 6th house of daily routine, which is about treating yourself very nicely every day. Like, how can you bring that beauty? So for me, I would say those would probably be my 2. I also, I think one of my next collections might be for Anubis. There, I have Anubis up there on my shelf. My dad actually made that in like 1978. And
oh, wow.
yeah, and he's a jackal that really in the underworld kind of guides the world. So I like that whole like mystery about that story too. So I think I'll make another collection about resurrection, using Osiris, Asar, and Anubis. So yeah.
I absolutely love that. I love that. I love the femininity and the rebirth and the resurrection and the power to give life to what you thought was dead.
Exactly.
I think that is so powerful, because I think that's such a great, I don't know what the word is, either
Metaphor.
Metaphor. Yeah, it's a great metaphor for if you think you've hit rock bottom, or if you think, I will never have this, I will never get that, this dream I had, this goal I had, it's dead, it'll never happen, my best days are behind me. I think these stories are such powerful indicators that no, within you lies the power to give anything life again. Yes. To resurrect, and even to resurrect, it's like, I'm not going to bring back what was dead. I'm going to bring back what was dead, but even better and different.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to get more than what I lost.
Yes. I love that you're saying that.
Yeah. That's really what the power of resurrection is, right? Mm-hmm. It's not you're bringing back the dead. It's like, I'm going to get more than what I lost. Yes. And that is what is going to come back. That's really the power of resurrection. And I love that. That just gives me, I got chills. Because that to me really is the essence of hope.
Yes. Because every person you have to die. Like, you need
something has to die.
Something has to die. And
something has to die.
It's the cycle of life. And it's a very, it can be sad, or you can look at it as an opportunity, and your Jupiter ruled sign as a Sagittarius. It's about hope and faith. And I think no matter how dark things get, you always have the ability to have faith and hope. It sounds easier, but it's a skill and it's a muscle that you have to flex. I mean, there was a time I had depression as a teenager. I mean, after that traumatic thing, I didn't really know. I had to build this skill of positivity and hope. And so that's exactly what you're saying, is that when things are bad, there's always a way out. Mars energy, action, there's always a way out. So
always a way out. Yeah. Yeah, it's also like the concept, like beauty for ashes, right? Like you might go through something, but you don't know what is going to rise out of that. Like, what is your phoenix moment? And this also reminds me of, I forgot who said it, but it was so powerful. They were like, the opposite of death is not life. The opposite of death is birth. And that's really true. If something is dead, the opposite of that is something being born. Yeah. So out of death comes life, and out of life, comes birth, and then you get to life, right? Yeah. So the opposite of life is not living, not necessarily being dead.
Yes, no,
right? So it's so true. So it's like, if you want a rebirth, something has to die, because it's an equal and opposite reaction. And that is so powerful. Yes. That is so powerful. What are some other things, whether it's astrology or the gods and the goddesses, or stories about your dad, or just anything that really inspires you, when you have those moments of, what we're talking about, feeling depressed or not feeling good, or if something has died, whether it's a dream or a hope or a belief or a version of ourselves, that's usually what we really grieve, is the version of ourselves that we know no longer is necessarily a possibility.
Yeah.
And we grieve the possibility of what could have been. And then you get that rebirth when you say, okay, well, that's over, that's dead. But now I get to decide what rises out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what are some things that inspire you like in those moments?
Yeah. So obviously, I do follow the cycles of the universe. And, people are like, do you plan everything around astrology? I do plan a lot of my life around astrology because I feel like it's about opportunities, and if life is secular, right? We have seasons. So we experience that here on Earth. So that's one tool. So like right now, I know, I have Jupiter in my 6th house. That's opportunity in my daily life. It's going to go into my 7th in relationships. So I plan things around that. But really, what I really encourage everyone to do, and what I do in my readings with clients, is get to know yourself on the most intimate level. Get to know your strengths, your weaknesses, your natural gifts and talents. And if you can't tell me what one or two of your natural talents or gifts are, then something's wrong, because everyone has one, right? And so for me, the way that I've built my life has been, and I did get this from my dad because he's, architect by trade. Like that's what was his day job, but he did lectures and teaching in Egyptology on the side. And so he merged these two things. And I was like, well, why can't I do beauty and astrology? So why not? Even though it took me a while to kind of believe it, but I think for people you don't have to put yourself into a box. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Create your life as you want it to be. So if you're a pianist, but you're also a doctor, why do you have to give up both? Why do you have to choose one or the other? Why can't you do both? And I think that's one of the things that I really truly believe in, because if you follow your inner compass, and your astrological chart is literally just a 2-dimensional representation of your life's compass, like where's your North Star, where are you supposed to be headed? If you follow that, how can you go wrong? Like it's literally God speaking to your spirit of what you're supposed to do. And we get so much noise and comparison, and we see people doing things because they want to make quick money, because everybody's making money off of this trend. It's like that trend is not going to work for you, because that's not your destiny. And so you can't imitate her, because that's not your path. Do your own path. And so my thing is really get to know yourself and what your path is. And part of the way you can find that is through your chart, which is why I love astrology so much, is because you can really get to know yourself. And I'm still learning. I've been studying for almost 20 years. I'm still learning about things about my chart. I'm like, oh, I didn't notice that, because it's so complex. So I hope that answered your question, but I think that is really what I encourage and try to preach to my clients specifically.
No, definitely. It seems like it's intentional lifestyle design. Like, how are you going to intentionally design your life from a place of authenticity? And authenticity is like, what do you like, what you don't like, what are you good at, what you're not good at? Like, it's warts and all, Like, I remember I used to, this was years ago, I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, oh, I'm such an authentic person. Like, nothing gets, like, I'm so above it. I'm so elevated. And I was like, no, that's called delusion. And that's not, and denial, and girl, bye. But like, no kidding. Like, that's not what it really is. I got humbled real quick. And I was like, oh no, authenticity is actually just, this is who I am. The good, the bad, the light, the shadow, the warts, the glory, all of it. This is me. This is just who I am, take it or leave it. And then through like the practice of like self-care and self-love is, I'm going to radically accept myself for who I am. I don't have to be cookie cutter. I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to be above it all. I just get to be me, because that's me and my own unique humanity, right? And within humanity is that juiciness of being imperfect. We get to mess up. We get to be crazy. We get to flub things. We get to not get it. That's our divine spirit having that human experience. And I was just talking about this on another interview I was doing with a meditation and manifestation coach. And we were talking about manifestation. And I was like, to me, it's just making your internal world evident in the physical world. It's just to make evident. And so whatever divinity divine essence you have, whether you are in your capital F freedom, or your capital A abundance, or your capital A or capital L love, internally in your divinity, then it just manifests or becomes evident in your physical space in the ways that your human body can understand it. So if I'm embodying freedom, the big essence of freedom, the way that my physical candy gets to experience that is money, because money in our physical world means I'm free to do what I want, how I want to do it, and when I want to do it, right? You know, if I'm embodying love with the capital L, you know, with my love potion over here, how my physical candy gets to experience that is, oh wow, I have this amazing romantic partner that loves me, or wow, I have self-love and I can do things to show myself love. You know, it's just when you embody these divine essences, our divinity, our higher self, our intuition, just like you're talking about, embodies that, then our human bodies gets to experience in ways that our human body gets to understand and enjoy it.
Exactly. It's literally the simplest universal law of what you put out is what you get back. That's the most simple law that we can, if people understand karma and energy, that's all it is. You're just being what you want.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
You want all these things and you want, you know, this type of partner and you want this money, but then you're not, and I'm not saying go run up your credit card, girl, if you want to be rich.
No. It's all energetic. Yep.
It's all energetic, like within your means, do live grand within your means and be grateful for the money that you have. If you get a check, hey, thank you. I'm happy. Thank you, universe, for sending me this $5 check. Like, be grateful. Don't throw away pennies. Keep them. You know what I mean? Like, it's money. So yeah, it's just, I love that you're saying that. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's all it is, because it's like, oh, you are now embodying appreciation. Well, we're going to give you more things for your physical self to appreciate, because that's what you're embodying, right? So it's just that, you know. And it's so funny because right before this, I was had my teapot going, but I forgot it was on, and I was just like, you know, I was like, you know, looking you up and doing all the prep work and everything, and I was super excited. Got my like candles, my mist going. And then something was like, oh, just like go in the kitchen. So I went in the kitchen and it was like about to like pop off because I'd had it for so long. And I just said, oh, thank you, God, for like bringing me in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Because I like to get into, just like you said, I like to always be in a mode of appreciation instead of being like, oh my God, I'm so stupid. I can't believe I left this on. Oh, I almost burned down the house. You know, instead of going to that place of like self-criticism or putting myself down or blaming myself, I went straight to gratitude. I was like, thank you, God, for bringing me in here. Like, you know?
Yes.
It's always about perspective. You know, everything that happens in and of itself is innocuous. It is what it is. We give it meaning. So did me, you know, for getting I had the teapot on and it's about to pop off, it doesn't really mean anything. It just means I put the teapot on. But if I experience it of, oh, I'm so stupid, I'm so forgetful, I always ruin everything, then that's one thing. Or, wow, I am so protected. Thank you, God, for like telling me I am so in tune. Let me just turn this off real quick. You know, it's just how you experience it. And I think that's what you help, you know, your clients with like your readings and your charts and astrology, is you shift their perspective from thinking like, oh, there's no control, I don't know what to do, to focus and to guidance and to see, you know, what they, not necessarily what they want to see, but that they have the power to choose their perspective in their life and in their trajectory. And you were talking about the chart. Now, what goes into the chart? Like, break the chart down.
Yeah. So basically, I take the person's birthday, the full birth date, the birth time, and the birth city. And the reason you need the birth time is because it's based on the rising sign or the ascendant, which is the sign that was a, you know what? Hold, please.
Yes.
People are, I just feel like this is a better, this is
nice.
There's my
visual.
This is a better visual. So this is just an astrology wheel, but it's something like this. And, you know, basically it's customized for the person. It shows like where the sun, what sign the sun was in at the moment of their birth. Where was Venus? Where was the moon? And all of that, every planet has an energy, right? So with what I do is interpret, how are the planets showing up? What houses are they in? So these are all these little spaces correspond to a particular area of your life. So there's like a career house, there's a love house, there's a family house, there's a foundation house. So, what I'm doing is analyzing where is that planet in that house and how is it showing up? And then how is it talking to the other planets? And then how is your personality developed based on this? So that's kind of how it works. And it's a science. It really is it's very intricate. I mean, there's so many different forms of astrology. There's, you know, whole sign house, there's Placidus, there's Vedic, there's Western. So every astrologer is going to be different. I consider myself to be a modern / traditional astrologer. I use a lot of traditional ancient techniques, but with a modern twist. And so it needs to be digestible for the client. Like I don't want to talk to you in astrology speak. You're not going to understand that. I'm trying to tell you, like, for instance, your Sagittarius sun, I don't know anything about your chart, but let's say your Mercury is in Capricorn, because Mercury travels close to the sun. It's only either going to be in your sign or a sign before or after. So if your Mercury's in Capricorn, you're a Sag, you're very big thinker, spiritual. Everything is about learning, and travel is important, learning about different cultures. And you're in the second decan of Sagittarius, which is ruled by Mars, because my brother's in that same decan. So you're driven. So, but if you have Mercury in Capricorn, you're very methodical about the way you put things together in business. And so basically, I'm just trying to tell people, yes, you're this type of sun, because most people know their sun sign, but you have all these little intricacies about you as well. Who are you and what are you here to do? That's kind of what's the foundation. And then there's, what's going on in the stars now? How is that responding to your chart? That's transits. What's your solar return? What's your birthday chart like? What's your zodiacal releasing, which breaks down like chapters in your life and some of how like that's going to play out. What's your perfection year? What's the ruler of the year? So there's like all these different things. It gets very, very complicated. And a good astrologer can make it not complicated, right? It's definitely a joy of mine. I enjoy doing it. I love seeing people's face when they're like, "How did you tell me that?" And I'm like, "It's in chart. Like I read it." So yeah, that's kind of the foundation of it. So yeah.
I love it. No, it is really cool, and it is very scientific. With the numbers, with the planets and all of that. So it gives it more of a structure. So how do you compare to, and I don't know if I'm way off here. I'm not sure. How does it compare to psychics or mediums versus like astrologers? How do those buckets compare?
That's a valid question. I feel like, so you don't have to be psychic or even a medium or anything like that to learn astrology and learn how to read charts. But I find that most people that do have that skill, because if you're into any sort of like metaphysical medium, you're into it, right? So like for me, I consider myself claircognizant, which is a form of, if you believe in psychics or energy or in being able to read energy, claircognizant is just a knowing of certain things. I can walk into a room like, oh, I know that's going to happen, or that person is this. Like I just know, and I don't know how do I know. Whereas clairaudience, you're hearing things. Clairvoyant, you see things, and so that's more psychic work. Mediumship is obviously like being able to speak to people that have passed or being in another realm. There's so many different forms of spirituality or metaphysics, and I'm a Reiki healer. I am very highly intuitive, but I don't only rely on that. To me, the astrology is like the more practical side where I can like check off what I'm thinking. And that's my Mercury and Taurus, I think. So yeah, it's definitely very different, but there are psychics that know astrology and there are astrologers that are psychic, but they're two different things.
Got it. Very cool. And then do you ever incorporate like tarot cards?
Oh, always. I mean,
always. Okay.
card decks. I literally have over 35 card decks. I've been collecting those for probably like 15 years now. I mean, I have.
Wow. Do you want to pull a card? Do you want to pull a card or no?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's pull a card.
What do we want to do? Is there anything in particular you want to know about, like a particular subject or?
Let's do love.
Oh.
Love is always a safe one to go.
So let's see. Do you want me to just see what comes up, or do you want to ask a question?
Just what comes up.
Okay, let's see. Let's see. Okay, first card is you deserve love. It says you are lovable.
Yes,
So
I am.
yeah, like really the belief, and it's something that you've been working on. I mean, you have this whole
Yep.
podcast. I mean, clearly this is your lifestyle. But the second card is make the effort. So if you want something to show up, it says great love is worth taking steps that you're guided to take. So not just the steps that other people, like if somebody's saying, girl, you need to do this, da, 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 what is your intuition telling you need to do? That's the step you need to take. Like even if it's just, I don't know, starting with your list of, or what I always tell my clients when they're trying to manifest a partner is don't make a list, write a letter as if the story has happened. Like
I love that.
we trust me, I've done this with several people. One of my girlfriends just got married, Beverly Hills Hotel, Four Seasons, her dream. He found the letter, first of all. Her man that she manifested found the letter after they were married. And he's like, what is this? And she's like, oh, Tamerri had me do this. So this shit works. Okay, so listen to your girl. But so just do whatever you're guided to make the effort. And then it says finances and career. It says financial issues are a factor in your love life right now. So that is either could mean, it could mean that maybe you want to be in business with a partner. It could mean that maybe you've been uber focused on your career and your finances. Now it's time to balance it out. I don't know what the situation is, but there's some level of the career and the finances are kind of spilling over into your love life and affecting it in some way. So that was just a basic 3 card. So you tell me what you think.
I'm gonna break it down. Yeah, I deserve love, definitely. I've been like hyper focused on like my self-concept and just really stepping into like my divine feminine energy. Because I'm usually in my masculine the majority of the time. But I've really been working on being fully awakened to my divine feminine energy. And I think that's really my capacity to feel worthy and deserving of love. Put the work in. I think connects with finances and career because I'm always hyper focused on my work. Like just that's pretty much all I do day in and day out because I'm a creative person. I'm like working on the podcast, working on Patreon, working on this, working on that. And I don't put in really any effort when it comes to that aspect of it. So I what that was saying to me was you gotta get some harmony. It can't just be, you know, work. If you gotta get some harmony with it.
Yeah, you have to. One of my girlfriends is a relationship expert, Spicy Madi. Check her out, and that's exactly what it's like. She attracts highly successful women that killing it in this area, but you're not applying the same tools to your love life. It's the similar type of, you have to show up, you have to have goals, you have to be able to communicate, you have to know what you want, but you have to be in your feminine energy if you're wanting to attract a certain type of, assuming that you're trying to date a man or whatever. So I love that you're acknowledging that because that is a big blockage for a lot of women.
100%. Like I definitely need to stay in my feminine more and put in more of an effort because I'm very Sigma. I'm a Sigma person. So I'm really a little bit more like lone wolf introverted. So I just like jam out and I don't even like think about the other part of it. So I definitely need to do that more. So wait, what was this write a letter ritual? What was that?
Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to write a letter and it's good to do it today because we're still in new moon energy. We just had a new moon in Aries.
Spring, right?
Yes, we're in spring. We're in, the new moon is powerful when it's growing, when it's waxing, which is today. It's the next day after the new moon. So it's perfect to do it today. So you're going to write a letter, not outlining, but just basically what your love life looks like with your partner. So let's say, me and hubby or whatever, we went to sleep, we woke up, we made breakfast together, we worked out, he gave me a kiss. Oh, I love the way he makes me feel. Like really appreciate, like imagine what that feels like, what it would feel like to have your ideal person. And you're just writing a story basically. And then what you're going to do is just like, and do it since you have the love potion, put the, yes. Do you have the mist too? Did I send you the mist?
Oh yeah, I got the trifecta, guys.
Perfect.
You gotta get the trifecta. I got the candle, I got the mist, I got the aromatherapy. It's going down.
It's going down tonight. So you're gonna put the oil on your heart chakra. Put it all over you. You're gonna spray yourself with the mist. You're gonna light the candle, and you're gonna do this. And then you're gonna fold it up. And then what you're gonna do is take the paper and just like put it over the candle, like as if you're like roasting a marshmallow, just for like a couple seconds, right?
Okay.
And then you're going to place it in like a safe place. So like I used to tell people either like under your mattress or like if you want to put it, under a pillow, but if you change your pillowcases, you'll have to like obviously taking that to account, or even like your nightstand, but you're just going to hide it and tuck it away. Because you're releasing it, because the biggest part of manifestation is not being attached to the outcome, knowing that it's going to happen. So when you put it away, you're releasing it, you've sealed it, and you let it come. Now, there are different things, like there's better times in certain people's charts where love is more active. So that's why the astrology piece is powerful too, because I can be like, oh, May is a good month because Venus will be in this house or whatever. So that's very personalized, but this is a ritual that I think everyone can do. It's simple, and it just gets you in the mode of like creating what you want. Now you have to do the work. You can't say you're going to do that and then stay in your house and don't be, like work on yourself so that you're showing up as your best, because you can get the man and then lose him because you're not embodying everything that you want, right? So that this is just to get it. So you still have to do other work. You still got to go to therapy. You still got to get your But yeah, I do like this idea of like creating and attracting. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm doing that tonight. Like that's the plan. So thank you. Because that's so true.
Like you'll be calling me and say, "Girl, guess who showed up?"
Mary, listen, I gotta send you a bouquet of flowers, girl. Yes,
please. Or let me officiate it. That's like one of my dreams, is to officiate someone's wedding. So
yes, you can definitely officiate it anytime. I love that. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Oh, this has been so much fun.
Yes, I love it.
So I have 2 more questions for you, and then I want you to stick around because then we're going to do a 5 soft life questions for our Patreons. Okay?
Oh, I love that. Okay.
Yes. So if you could leave us with one kernel of wisdom or insight, if we only got one thing with our time with you, what's that one thing you want us to leave with?
Ooh, this is hard. One kernel of wisdom is be present. And I know that's very a lot of people say that, and it's so hard, but most of our anxiety comes from worrying about the future, which obviously as an astrologer, it's hard. Like I plan that, and then the past. But if you're truly present, like right now I'm with you, Candy, like we're connecting, we're having this great moment. Like that's when the magical moments happen in life. And then you look back and you're like, wow, I created all these magical moments. So I think that would be my biggest thing, is to be present and breathe. Like just remember the power of stillness, power of now, Eckhart Tolle, like just be still. So I think that would be, that's what came to me today.
I love that. I know Mike helped us while talking to you, and what I learned during our time together is, like you said, to breathe, because where there's breath, there's life.
Yes.
And it reminds you you're alive. And then also when we talked about the resurrection, how you're not just going to get back what you lost, but you're going to get back more than that. You're going to get more than what you lost. So whatever you feel in your life is lost, or you've mourned or grieved over, or is dead, just be prepared that you're going to get back more than what you lost. Yes. That really hit home with me.
Yes.
So for everyone who will be watching and listening, everything to connect to Tamerri will be linked down below. But do you also want to share with us where we can find you? But everything will be linked in the show notes and description box.
Yes. So you can find me for astrology readings at AstroFashionista.com. And that's just how it sounds, Astro and Fashionista. You can follow me at AstroFashionista. I'm private right now because I've been having a lot of imposter accounts, but I will accept people that are not fraudulent. It's crazy out there. And then you can find my products at thegiftofthenile.com, and you can follow Gift of the Nile. So those are the 2 blessed places. And I love when people message me in DM, like I'm very responsive. So yeah.
And I can vouch for this. It smells amazing. And I am doing the love letter ritual tonight, guys. So it's going down.
Yes.
So for everyone watching, we are about to go do our 5 soft life questions for our Patreons. So if you have not yet joined our Patreon community, be sure to join us. It's linked down right below. There are 3 different tiers, so pick the one that resonates the most with you. So with that, everyone, as always, be sure to share this with someone because your journey to self-love and self-worth is always better with some support. Check out all of our courses, our self-love journal, and everything else we got going on down there. Tons of goodies. Go ahead and check it out. And thank you so much, Tamerri, and be sure to stick around because we got our 5 questions coming up. But as always, everyone, take care of yourself and each other, and I will see you next time. Bye.